Good morning, family and friends. It is so good to be able to share with you guys again. Being housebound and confined to our homes during this coronavirus in order to protect ourselves and to protect others has reminded me of how badly I want to escape from the confines of my little box and just run free once again. And I'm sure all of you can relate and are feeling the same way right now. As I shared in my devotional last time, I said that Jesus often speaks in parables. And so I have a parable again for you, and it's called Lifted Out of the Box. As I have been being held as a willing prisoner in my own house, I was enlightened to think about and remember that, in fact, a major portion of our lives has been spent imprisoned in some kind of a box. The first couple of years of our lives were enjoyed in the confines of a crib, a playpen, a car seat, a high chair or a stroller, or maybe even in our parents' arms. They were all meant as a form of protection, and even as we started to explore the perimeters of our well-guarded fortresses and we began climbing out of the playpens and the cribs, I was reminded over and over again how dangerous it was to be unconfined or unrestrained. After all, it was for our protection. And as we grew a little bigger, the boxes became a little bigger, and the borders went just a little bit further. But I began to slowly understand that there was a well-planned conspiracy to keep us within our four walls of that safety zone. Now the box became our rooms, our yards, and our city blocks and our city limits. We would get glimpses of the outside once in a while, but we were quickly reminded by our parents and our peers that scary things were on the outside and that this big wide world would gobble us up if we dared to dream a different dream than the one that was laid inside the box and that was meant and kept and was designed especially for you. If you were like me, as my teen years approached, my box did grow and expand, only this time it extended beyond the physical, and it began to develop inside of my mind, my thoughts, my desires, my dreams, and my spirit. Although I was free to roam the four corners of my large box, other boxes of various sizes began to fill the box, and I was enclosed within, pressing me into the corner from all sides until I had very little room in my box left for me. The little boxes came in the form of peer pressure, desire to please others, obedience to the laws, parents, church, friends, teachers, ideas, politics, sexual beliefs, and there were just so many boxes. And being the opinionated person that I am, I had lots of beliefs and words on every subject imaginable. As adulthood approached, I began to see that others lived in different boxes than I did, but they were boxes just the same. The borders may have extended further than mine, but they weren't any more free than I was. They were restrained by different ideologies or ideas, but they were still being held in bondage. I would look outside my four walls with a floor and a ceiling and wonder if I would ever really understand what freedom was. It sounded so good. In Luke 4:18, Jesus said that the Spirit of the Lord is on me because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, and to set the oppressors free. Jesus said that he came to set the captives free, and I definitely was a captive. The church, or let's call it the religious establishment, would tell you that Christ could set you free, but then they would tie you up tightly in the bondage of fear, shame, or some other warped religious rhetoric, and I Now believe that they were so afraid that you might escape their grips and truly find the freedom of Christ and what he talked about, and that you would end up leaving them to remain in their box all alone. So they worked even harder at keeping you in that same box. Religion, which is man-created rules about how we should live under the law, it's a horrible way to live. It keeps you in bondage. It keeps you in a box. John 10:10 says, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy," the thief being Satan. "But Jesus said, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." Did you know that Christ came that you might have life and have it abundantly? Well, I had been religious for many years. It has just been in the last few years that I have really discovered God's grace. It is really sad that it took so many years before I found the freedom that I had longed for. I had tried to climb out of that box many times, but it wasn't until I lifted my arms to Jesus and said, "I'm ready to come out," that I was released from my bondage, and I wanted to share that with you. You see, religion produces a works mentality, or an "I can earn God's favor." Religion produces a judgmental attitude, or "I am more holy than you are." Religion produces hypocrites and pretenders. But grace produces an understanding of what Jesus did for me on the cross, and a love and a desire to serve and to please him. Grace produces an uncondemning love for others. Grace, God's undeserved favor, gives us freedom without boundaries, because boundaries are unnecessary for someone who is searching Christ's heart for their needed answers and is so in love with the one who died for them that those same boundaries become choices, not imprisonment. I can't wait until we have the freedom to attend church again. Gathering with like-minded people is such a gift. I hope when you are lifted out of this diseased, governed environment, you will choose to utilize this freedom to attend your favorite church. I personally can't wait. I want to go to church. The freedom to attend church in a free country where it allows me to do it freely is so important. And even in this couple months that we've seen glimpses of that freedom may not always be there for us. And no, I don't believe you have to go to church to be a Christian. But I know that I absolutely can't wait to go back every Sunday. I was set free from all these self-imposed confining boxes that held me in bondage, and all because of God's amazing grace. Jesus lifted me out of the box, and he told me he loved me, and he said, "Be free." And I fell down on my knees, and I worshiped him, saying, "I love you, and it is my desire to serve you." Are you tired of being in bondage? Are you ready to be lifted out of the walls that hold you imprisoned? There is amazing freedom waiting for you outside of the box, and his name is Jesus. Go ahead, lift up your arms to him, and I guarantee he will lift you out, and he will say, "I love you, be free." And once you are free, and you're free to worship, and we're free to go to church again, you'll never be the same. Thanks for spending time with me. I love you all. Have a great week.